Today on the Occult Detective, we're going to talk about occult detectives. So, I just wanted to briefly cover something that I ended up discussing over the weekend. I hope you all had a fantastic holiday. Basically, what came up was the discussion of exactly what constituted occult detective fiction. Uh, For me, it's pretty cut and dried, right? So you've heard the definition as I put forth before. It's where you take the tropes of the traditional detective story and you combine supernatural horror fiction to that. It's very simple. Where it gets muddy is a lot of urban fantasy gets kind of shuffled into occult detective fiction. And I do think that there is a difference. To me, if an occult detective story operates in a world where the general populace understand that magic is real, monsters are real, then that to me is not an occult detective story. It's an urban fantasy. Laurel K. Hamilton's Anita Blake is a good example of that. Simon R. Green also kind of deals in those playgrounds. And are the characters? Is Anita Blake an occult detective? Yes, she's dealing with occult themes and she's investigating, but the setting is different, and I think that is what sets occult detective fiction apart from urban fantasy. And I enjoy urban fantasy for what it is, but I prefer occult detective fiction. I prefer it to work in a world where magic and monsters are a mystery, are something that lurks in the shadows. And the occult detective is the person who enters those shadows. Be they a person who is just an ordinary bloke, like a Carl Kolchak, or someone versed in the mystical arts, like somebody from, Adam Sinclair, or, any of those type of characters. And that's where John Constantine gets a little muddy, right? Because John Constantine in Hellblazer is an occult detective story. John Constantine in, New 52 or any of the more modern iterations of Constantine is urban fantasy or heroic fantasy or what have you. Because Constantine, for me, works best when he is separate from the DC universe, when he's operating in his own world. If you interject Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and everybody else, well, then you're dealing with a different type of universe. And again, for me, occult detective stories work best when it's as close to the real world as we can make it. So that's my 2 cents worth. I look forward to debating this with you in the comments below. And yeah, tell me your thoughts. What constitutes an occult detective story for you?